thinking about death is like I think it's a kind of a terrible thing to do, but I think about it a lot. But I think it's sort of like a sin because it's just indulgence. And then, you don't want to get to the point where something happens and you're like, why did I spend all that time thinking about death when I had life? Like, you don't want to hit that point where you're no longer sound but sick, and then go, God, why did I spend my whole life ruminating about an inevitability? And also, like, not to get too deep or anything about this, but I think about it a lot. But the way I came to feel that I try to tell myself is that since when you're dead, you're not alive, and since when you're alive, you're not dead, you and death will never actually cross paths. So there's really nothing to be afraid of.
Except for that half hour where, time's coming.
Yeah, well, you know what the good part is about the end, is you got no pain because they got morphine. They're jamming syrettes and morphine in your neck. Like, that's why it's like, my grandfather died peacefully. Yes, because he was on so much narcotics. That's why he fucking died peacefully. It's not because... If you went back like 200 years, those guys didn't die peacefully. They were just fucking howling for 3 days with black bile pouring out of their nose. This is all funny stuff.
It's not all about the laughs. But no, you talk about this on stage in a funny way, about your dark thoughts about the end of life. But you're saying in your real life, though, you've just told yourself there's no point in fretting about an inevitability.
Well, I try.
Are you successful at that?
No, I'm not successful. I just try to tell myself that. But in the deep of night,
that's when it hits.
Yeah, that's not fun. And like my worst moments in life is when I get up late at night and go in the bathroom and turn the light on and look into my own eyes. But anyways, I try to, you try to keep it at bay. You try to keep all those thoughts at bay, and like, in a sense, like that. That's why I think, like, routine is important. I have a job where, like, there's not routine. You have to self-impose routine. But I think that, to me, like, the key to unhappiness is, like, just indulgence. Like, with anything, if you indulge in sex or in alcohol or in drugs or in video game, it doesn't matter. If you indulge in things, you're not happy. And I think, like, our previous generation, they never indulged in anything. Like, my dad worked all day and then he'd have a couple beers, and I'm sure those beers were tasted really good to him. And his vacations, as modest as they were, probably had great value. We indulge ourselves more, and then the generation that follows us really indulge themselves. And I don't know. To me, I think that's where you get unhappy, when you start indulging. That's the key to unhappiness. What am I talking about?
Indulging in Twitter and things like that. Did you hear that Woody Allen interview he did with a French TV station?
No.
He talked about why he just obsessively works from one film. When that one's ended, he moves on to the next one, and it's to get his mind off of dying. Essentially, it's gives him routine, gives him something to do just to keep his mind away from that.
Yeah. God, that's depressing. No, but yeah, I can see what he means. Like, I remember when my dad retired, because that was his whole dream, was retiring his whhole life. Like, it was always to retire. And then when he retired, he forgot to think of something to do. Like, he didn't have hobbies or anything. So then he was just sitting around the house, and, like, he was sad because, like, he just had this idea of retirement, and he had this idea that doing nothing would be a wonderful thing, which, is just natural for us to think. But no, I think that must be why Woody Allen or Clint Eastwood or stuff would work like that when they have so much money, is to not be alone with your thoughts and to be distracted. Like one time I went to a psychiatrist because I was gambling too much, and he told me, you do that to like avoid life. And then that was my argument, was like, that's why you do everything, is to avoid. You live life to avoid life in a way. Like, you live the minutia of daily existence. You wake up and then you eat. You wash your face and shower and have the exact same conversations with the exact same people over and over and over and over again, just to kind of achieve some self-hypnosis, so you stay away from thinking about. This is why people that do drugs, I think the drugs take away the defense of, if they take very powerful hallucinogenics or something, they probably are thinking more clearly in some ways about life, in the sense that they no longer worry about finding food or talking to friends. They start thinking about real things, and that's so horrifying that they get psychotic breaks and so forth. Again, this is all hilarious stuff.
It's not a comedy show. It's a show about comedians. Because I find it fascinating. Now, is it a function of age, or have you always had these thoughts? Like I say, I thought a lot about death, and it's not that I obsess over it. It's just that I'm curious. I wonder, and I think. I studied philosophy, and I think about when that happens, right? So, is this more something that's you're thinking a lot more about now, or have you always been this way?
Well, I remember when I was young, I think I was the most terrorized by the idea. But it might have been other. Maybe I was worried about my parents dying or something like that. Yeah. But no, I was always like afraid. I was afraid of like something random just happening that could knock me out of the game real quick, or. I'm very cautious. Like, I don't do anything that can put me in situations, because people go, "Oh, you got to live," But you can just you can live by being cautious and careful and not doing like. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to jump out of a plane. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to jump out of no plane, and I'm not going to do any drugs that'll kill me. And I'm not going to drink alcohol all the time, because that stuff, I don't want to. I just want to grow. I just want to grow old and die a slow, like, painful death. No, I don't know what I want, but it is. But now that, like, because now I'm kind of. Because I'm 48, so I'm kind of like always thinking 20 years in the future and trying to figure out how I can be in good enough shape to. But also, I think I should do something before then, like I should go travel and see someplace, because I don't want to be like them old people that they start traveling when they're hit 80 or whatever, and then they're on a bus with other people being herded around. I was thinking in my mind that I'd like to take a train across Canada again, like I did when I was young and stuff. Well, I'm still young enough to. Well, I'm still ambulatory. Oh my God, this is getting funnier by the moment.
I don't want to be traveling when I'm 80 and dying on the plane or the bus, because that would be embarrassing. And I think you kind of talk about that too.
Geez, I was just reading. That's weird. Because I love Russians, and I read Tolstoy a lot, but I don't know anything about him. But a guy told me, because I don't read biographies and stuff, but a guy told me that Tolstoy was they did this movie called The Last Station with Christopher Plummer, where he played Tolstoy. But anyways, he was apparently obsessed with death, and he wanted to be an ascetic because he was born a count, but he never had the courage to like just give everything up. And then finally one day he said, I'm just giving. He was old though, like late 70s. He said, I'm giving everything up and I'm just going to wander the world like Christ. And then he went to the train station and died.
On his way.
Yeah, at the train station. So he waited too long, you know.